Hi, I'm Joy Antonio from PamilyangPinoy.com, and this is my son Leroy, and he loves to stand. So while recording this video blog, he can just stand and look around. Today I'd like to talk to you about being prepared for power outages. The reason why I'm so concerned about this is that here in my area, we frequently get power outages, short ones, but frequent enough to make people uncomfortable because there's no electric fan. And also, there was one time during, I think it was Typhoon Glenda, that my building didn't have power for around 3 to 5 days, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty long. Yeah, pretty long. Especially when you have little ones who won't be able to adapt so quickly to a situation like that. At that time, I only had my daughter, my first. Leroy is my second. Now that they're two, it concerns me even more. So let me tell you what I've done to prepare. Let me just wipe that. Why? Okay. Basically, to cool them, I have USB fans like this. I have two of them, one for each kid. Just got them from CDR King, but there are plenty of choices around. I think you'll find enough of a variety. I would suggest getting a pretty sizable one. This is still smaller. The other one I have is a little bigger. Let me just get it. Here. Pretty big. Yeah. This has metal blades. It puts out a better wind. Okay. And then I simply power those using power banks. This one is SSK brand. It's 10,400 mAh. I have smaller ones also, so we can power these USB fans. I opted for this at a time when those rechargeable electric fans weren't popular yet, and now they are. I've seen them many times around, both online and in hardware stores especially, but I haven't quite I'm not quite convinced about switching to them because first, they're expensive. Second, they take very long to charge, and I wouldn't have any other way of charging them except for plugging them into an AC socket. So I wouldn't. It's not like I could go to a coffee shop and charge my electric fan if ever the power outage lasts long. It's not going to be very discreet. So if I just charge a power bank, it'll be a lot easier. And another consideration is that power banks are a lot more universal. They could power other devices as well, especially smartphones, which may be very important. Yeah, they're so important. Yes, they're very important these days, and we need to communicate with our family members while they're outside. So that's the reason why I haven't switched to those big fans. Maybe someday when they're a little more practical for me. Yeah. But for now, the cooling... but for now, we'll stick to that system. Especially because I do have a way of charging USB power banks without plugging, and that's through this thing over here. It's an Eton FRX2. I also got this from Lazada, but I also did find a local seller on OLX that sells this. What it is it's an emergency radio, flashlight, and power bank, which can hold just a little bit of a charge, but it's enough to charge a phone to life. So that's pretty useful. And the way to charge it, apart from plugging it in to a wall socket, is through this hand turbine. So you can imagine if we're really desperate for some power from some juice in the power banks, we could just do this, and then through the port over here, charge our other devices. There's also a solar panel option, but I live in a condo and I have no balcony, so I don't really use that all too much. If I don't have it charged, I'd rather use the turbine, the hand turbine. So there, pretty much my solution for keeping cool during a power outage, especially important when it's summer like it is now. We actually got to use the system once. When was that? I think it was just last week. The outage was just about an hour long, or less than an hour, but it was enough to make everyone feel so uncomfortable. It already was hot, even before the power outages. Our fans were all blaring, and it was hot, and then the power went out. So a little bit of wind coming from these USB fans together with some cooling using maybe hand towels that are wet, and you just rub them all over you. It already does the trick for the most part. Okay, so that's how we try to keep cool during power outages. Thank you. This is Joy and Leroy from PamilyangPinoy.com. Another consideration is that oh,